You examine your fucking brain, and that takes some hard work and suffering. If you're not willing to do that, I'm sorry.
And it seems like there's no way to do that as a bystander.
No, you can't watch it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta get out there and be like, oh, this hurts. This hurts real fucking bad. I don't think this is smart. And then, guess what happens? The body will adjust. It will adjust. And everybody goes, well, then the next question I get, but is there a time when it doesn't adjust? What the fuck? I get some of the stupidest shit, man. Like, don't take it with a grain of fucking salt, people.
Those questions are people that are wanting to quit.
Yes. And that's what I say.
When should I quit?
Yeah, like, did you ever feel like, no, shut the fuck up. Stop. I don't want to, like that. There's always that next question. No, don't take it like go out there and run through a brick wall as many times as you can. No, I'm not saying be me. Don't run 205 miles at one time. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying start to learn the mind is powerful. It's powerful, man. It's unbelievable.
Let's say you're trying to lose weight and your big hang-up is that you run through about 3 liters of ice cream each week. You're just an ice cream fiend. You've tried stopping through sheer willpower. You've tried diets with your friends. You've even told your partner never to buy ice cream again in a desperate attempt to blame them for your own shortcomings. But in reality, nothing's worked. Not a day goes by that you don't down about 1,000 calories of that creamy goodness. And you just hate yourself for it. And that's your first problem. Step 1 to self-discipline is to de-link your personal failings from moral failings. You have to accept that you cave to indulgence and that this necessarily doesn't make you a horrible person. We all cave to indulgence in some shape or form. We all harbor shame. We all fail to resign or rein in our impulses. And we all like a good fucking bowl of ice cream from time to time, right? Now, this sort of acceptance is way more complicated than it sounds. We don't even realize all of the things and the ways that we judge ourselves for our perceived feelings. Thoughts are constantly streaming through our heads without even realizing it. We're tacking on because I'm a horrible person to the end of a lot of them. Oh, I fucked up that project at work because I'm a horrible person. The whole kitchen is a mess and my friends will be over here in 20 minutes because I'm a horrible person. Other people are good at this, but I'm not because I'm a horrible person. Everybody probably thinks I'm an idiot because I'm a horrible person. For fuck's sakes, eh? Hell, you might have been tackling on these self-judgments right now while listening to this. Man, I judge myself like this all the time because I'm a horrible person. Well, here's the thing. There's a sick sort of comfort that comes from these self-judgments. That's because they relieve us of the responsibility for our own actions. If I decide that I can't give up ice cream because I'm a horrible person, then that horrible personness precludes my ability to change or improve in the future. Therefore, it's technically out of my hands, isn't it? It implies that there's nothing I can do about my cravings or compulsions, so fuck it, why try? There's a kind of fear and anxiety that comes when we relinquish our belief in our own horribleness. We actually resist accepting ourselves because responsibility is scary. It suggests that not only are we capable of change in the future, and change is always scary, but that we have perhaps wasted much of our past, and that never feels good either. In fact, another little trap is when people accept that they're not a horrible person, but then decide that they are a horrible person for not realizing that years ago. But, you know, once we've decoupled our emotions from our moral judgments, once we've decided that just because something makes us feel bad doesn't mean we are bad. Now this opens us up to some new perspectives. For one, it suggests that emotions are merely internal behavior mechanisms that can be manipulated just like anything else. Kind of like putting your floss next to your toothbrush and it reminds you to floss every morning. Once the moral judgments are removed, feeling bad because you relapsed on the cookies and cream ice cream can simply be a reminder or a motivator to address the underlying issue. We must address the emotional problem the compulsion is trying to numb or cover up. If you compulsively eat tubs of ice cream each week, well, why? Well, why? Because eating, especially sugary, unhealthy food, is a form of numbing. It brings the body comfort. It's sometimes known as emotional eating. And it works in the same way as an alcoholic drink helps one to escape their demons. An overeater escapes to escape theirs. So what are those demons? What is the shame? That is the question. Find it, address it, and most importantly, accept it. Find that deep, dark, ugly part of yourself and confront it head on, allowing yourself to feel all the awful, icky emotions that come with it. Then you accept that this is part of you and it's never going to go away. And that's just fine. You can work with this rather than against it. And here's where the magic happens. When you stop feeling awful about yourself, two things actually happen. There's nothing to numb anymore, therefore suddenly those tubs of ice creams are pointless. And secondly, you see no reason to punish yourself. On the contrary, you like yourself. So you want to take care of yourself. And more importantly, it feels good to take care of yourself. Hey, you never know. Incredibly, that tub of ice cream no longer feels good. It's no longer scratching some internal itch. Instead, it makes you kind of feel sick, bloated, and gross. Similarly, exercising no longer feels like it's this impossible task that you'll be never up to. On the contrary, it replenishes you, it enhances you, and those feelings of feeling good start showing up, and that makes it effortless. But you don't necessarily have to do this deep therapeutic work to gain self-discipline. Simply start by understanding and accepting your emotions for what they are and what they can allow you to work with. Working with them rather against them once again. Hey, just for shits and giggles, here's one way to do this when it comes to the ice cream issue. Call up your best friend, have them come over, take out your checkbook, write a check for $2,000, sign it and give it to them and go, hey, if you ever eat ice cream again, they can cash it. Done. Now, eating ice cream will now cause you a much greater emotional problem than the one it actually solves. And if by magic refraining from ice cream, it will begin to feel really, really fucking good to refrain from eating that ice cream. Social accountability kind of works in the same way. It is much easier to meditate for a long time when you're in a room full of people than it is to do it by yourself. Why, you ask? Because when you're in a room full of people, you don't want to be the lone asshole who gets up and walks out after 3 minutes, like you do at home. The social pressure makes it so that not meditating causes a bigger emotional problem than meditating for the full amount of time. You can also do this through positive reinforcement. Find ways to reward yourself for doing the correct behavior. Just goes to show that research shows that this is actually how new habits are formed. You do the desired behavior, then reward yourself for it. The result will be self-discipline without having to express a great deal of willpower. Once you resolve much of your shame, and once you've created situations to provide greater emotional benefits from doing the desired behavior than not doing it, what you end up with is the appearance of an airtight self-discipline without actually putting forth any effort. You end up with discipline without willpower. You wake up early because it feels good to wake up early. You eat kale instead of smoking crack because it feels good to eat the kale and it feels bad to smoke the crack. You stop lying because it feels worse to lie than to say an important truth. You exercise because it feels better to exercise than it does to sit around and covering yourself in a thin layer of Cheeto dust. It's not that the pain goes away. No, the pain is still there. It's just that the pain now has meaning. It has a purpose. And that makes all the difference. You work with the pain rather than against it. You pursue it rather than run from it. And with every pursuit, you get stronger, healthier, and happier. Eventually, from the outside to others, it will look like you're putting forth a monumental effort and that you have this endless reserve of willpower. Yet to you, just because you do what you do, it will feel like nothing at all. Enjoy the rest of the sunrise. And may the gift of the day smile kindly on you all.
So what I realized is for me to become the man I wanted to become, I saw myself as the weakest person God ever created. But I never blamed God for anything he did to me. So I wanted to change that to be the hardest man ever created. Am I that? I don't know, but you had to have a goal. And my goal when I was sitting there, not going to school, being bullied, having no self-esteem, my goal was the only person that's going to turn this person around is me. I was so driven, and I'm not going to say motivated because motivation's crap. Motivation comes and goes. When you're driven, whatever's in front of you will get destroyed. We live in an external world. Everything is you got to see it, touch it. It's external. If you can, for the rest of your life, live inside of yourself. Stop listening to people who are calling you fat, gay, transsexual, nigger. Everything that is makes no sense. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you got to flush it out.